I paid for my sister's wedding, then found out she's been sleeping with my husband. This is going to be long. If you're looking for a neat, clean revenge fantasy or some big moment where the bad guys get exactly what they deserve, you might want to look away. Because this is just pain. Messy, humiliating pain. But I need to tell it. Because if I don't write this out somewhere, I'm going to lose my mind. My name is Rachel, not really, but close enough. I'm 36 years old. I've been married to my husband, Tom, for almost 9 years. We don't have kids, not by choice, unfortunately. After a lot of fertility treatments, heartbreak, and more doctor appointments than I can count, we accepted that it wasn't going to happen. I work in finance. I've been careful with money. Grew up poor, learned to save. My husband works in sales, which means his income goes up and down, but he's charming. People trust him. Clients love him. I used to love that about him, too. I also have a younger sister. Her name is Lily. She's 28, a bit of a free spirit, a bit of a mess. She's beautiful, chaotic, always bouncing between jobs and situationships. The kind of girl who can cry her way out of a speeding ticket or borrow money with a smile and no intention of ever paying it back. But she's my sister. I've always been the responsible one, and she's always been Lily, the pretty one, the one people forgive, the one I've spent my whole life protecting, or enabling, depends who you ask. Lily got engaged last year to a guy named Ethan. They'd been dating for 6 months, broke up twice, got back together, and then suddenly, boom, engagement. She FaceTimed me cry with excitement, showing off a modest little ring, and I remember thinking, I hope she knows what she's doing. Ethan seemed fine, quiet, kind of bland, worked in construction, liked baseball, didn't say much at family dinners. But he looked at Lily like she was magic, and honestly, I thought maybe that was enough. What wasn't enough was their money, or lack of it. 3 months into wedding planning, Lily called me sobbing. They couldn't afford the venue. She couldn't afford a dress. They were thinking of eloping, and I, stupid loyal me, said, "Don't worry about it. I'll help." Help turned into fund. I paid for the venue, the photographer, the DJ, her dress, bridesmaid robes, makeup artists, you name it. I spent over $18,000. $18,000. And I didn't complain. Not once. Because I thought, this is what sisters do. This is love. And maybe if I help her build a stable life, she'll finally stop spinning. Things between me and Tom. While all this wedding planning was happening, things with Tom started to shift. Nothing dramatic at first. Just distance. He started staying later at work. Our conversations became transactional. Did you pick up the dry cleaning? What's for dinner? Instead of intimate. Our sex life, already strained by the fertility roller coaster, became basically non-existent. I chalked it up to stress. We were both working long hours. I was stretched thin helping Lily, and he was dealing with a difficult client. That's what I told myself. What I didn't realize was that the difficult client he was spending late nights texting wasn't a client at all. The wedding day. It was beautiful. God, it was stupidly beautiful. The flowers, the sunset, the lights. Lily looked like a fairy tale. Everyone kept complimenting the decorations and the music and the food, and every single time I smiled and said, "Thank you, I'm just glad she's happy." I was the maid of honor. I gave a speech. I cried. I talked about how proud I was of my baby sister, how happy I was she'd found someone who loved her, how this was the beginning of something new. Tom held my hand through the whole thing, kissed my temple, told me how amazing I was. And the entire time, he and Lily were already *ing behind my back. **. The first red flag. It came 2 weeks later. Tom was in the shower. His phone buzzed. And listen, I don't make a habit of checking his phone. I don't believe in snooping. But this was different. It buzzed, then buzzed again. Same name both times. L. Just that. Not Lily. Just L. I looked. The messages were deleted. But one line in the preview stuck in my brain and wouldn't let go. I keep thinking about that night. I stared at it until the screen went dark. When I confronted him, he didn't flinch. He looked me straight in the eye and said, "It's a client. Her name is Lauren. I'm working on her account." Jesus, Ratch, you really don't trust me? And you know what I did? I apologized. Because he was my husband. Because I'd been feeling insecure. Because Lily had just left for her honeymoon, and I was dealing with post-wedding exhaustion and needed something to feel normal. He made me feel like I was paranoid. Crazy. It wouldn't be the last time. About a month later, Lily came over. She wanted to hang out like old times and watch bad rom-coms. I was happy to see her. She was glowing. I figured newlywed life was treating her well. But then something happened. She got a text. Her phone lit up on the coffee table. She snatched it up like it was a bomb. I caught a glimpse of the contact name. T. Blackheart. She saw me see it. Her face froze. "Everything okay?" I asked. She forced a smile. "Yeah, just Ethan. He misses me." But Ethan's name doesn't start with T. After that, I started noticing things. Tom got weird when Lily's name came up. Lily started dodging family events where Tom would be present. They never texted in front of me, never made eye contact when we were all together. Then one night, I was doing laundry and grabbed Tom's jacket to toss it in the machine. Something fell out of the pocket. A receipt from a hotel, dated 2 nights before. Room for 2. I waited. Quietly. I said I was working late, but I came home early, parked down the block, walked up to our house on foot, and I watched from the dark as my sister opened my front door with my husband behind her. They kissed, not like it was new, not like it was forbidden, like it was routine. I didn't say anything. Not then. I waited until they were both asleep. Then I packed a bag, took my laptop, my passport, and a duffel of clothes, left my wedding ring on the counter, didn't leave a note. I went to a hotel and cried until I couldn't breathe. Update. When I left the house that night, I didn't go to friends. I didn't call my mom. I didn't message anyone. I went somewhere I hadn't been since I was 19. A cheap motel on the edge of the city, run down, barely clean, and mercifully anonymous. I needed to stop the screaming in my head, and not the kind you hear from outside sources. This was the kind that comes from within. My own brain was begging me to shut it down. The morning after, I didn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling all night, trying to convince myself it didn't happen. But it did. I saw them, my husband and my sister, kissing on the porch of my house. In the glow of the porch light I picked out during our remodel. Around 7 a.m., I grabbed a coffee from the lobby and checked my phone. 10 missed calls from Tom, 2 from Lily. No voicemails, no texts, just calls. They knew, or at least they knew I'd seen something. They didn't know what I knew, and that gave me a little power, just a sliver. My first move, the lawyer. I didn't wait. I Googled a divorce attorney that morning and made an appointment for the next day. I don't have kids. Our house is jointly owned, but I've got full records of the down payment, which was 100% mine. Every major asset we share has a digital trail that leads back to me. What I didn't know yet, the emotional shrapnel was going to hit harder than the financial. I texted Tom late that night. "I need time. Don't contact me until I say it's okay." His reply came instantly. "Ratch, I'm so sorry. Please just let me explain. It wasn't what it looked like." Of course, the classic. Not what it looked like, except it was. I didn't reply. He texted again. "Please just talk to me. I'll do anything." Then Lily. "I need to talk to you. This isn't fair. Please don't hate me." Fair? Fair is spending $18,000 on your sister's wedding while she's F*** king your husband. I turned my phone off for 48 hours. When I finally turned my phone back on, I had a voicemail from my mother. I expected concern, alarm, maybe even anger on my behalf. Instead, "Rachel, I don't know what's going on between you and Lily, but she's a wreck. She says you're being really cold and unfair. I raised you girls to be better than this." I replayed it, twice. Then I threw my phone across the motel bed and screamed into a pillow, so hard I gave myself a migraine. She didn't ask if I was okay. She didn't ask where I was. She was only concerned that Lily was upset. The lawyer appointment was surprisingly easy, brutal, but clear. We went over the financials. He said, "You have a strong case if you want to file for fault-based divorce citing adultery." Then he paused. "Do you want to subpoena your sister?" I looked at him. He shrugged. "It'll be ugly, but you're entitled to expose the affair if it benefits your claim, especially if you can prove she's a correspondent." It was the first time someone outside my brain said it that plainly. My sister was the other woman. I already had the hotel receipt and the memory of seeing them kiss. But in a courtroom, that's not enough. So I dug. Tom never changed his iCloud password. Idiot. I logged in from my laptop. Not only did he not delete the sync text, but he had screenshots. Screenshots of Lily. Naked. Selfies. Texts. One where she wrote, "She has no idea. I feel guilty sometimes." But only for a second. Another, "Did you think about me while you were in bed with her?" Winking face. He replied, "Every time." I closed the laptop. My hands were shaking. But the worst message? It was about me. This one I'll never forget. "Tom, she's broken since miscarriage. She doesn't even touch me anymore. It's like she died and forgot to bury herself." Lily replied, "That's because she never really wanted you. She only wanted the idea of you." The miscarriage. We had one a year into trying. I nearly bled out. I was in the hospital for 2 days. He brought me ice chips and read magazines to me while I cried. And then he said that. I confronted him. 3 days later, I returned to the house. He opened the door like he was relieved, like we were about to have a mature conversation. He looked like hell, unshaven, red-eyed. I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. I said one sentence. "How long?" He knew what I meant. He stared at the floor and said, 6 months. That was a lie. I already knew from the iCloud messages it was at least 10, and based on the tone of some earlier ones, I suspect it started before the wedding, but I didn't correct him. Instead, I handed him a manila envelope. Inside was a printed copy of the divorce filing. He went pale. "You already filed?" I nodded. "You need to be out by the end of the month." Then I turned and walked out, and then I faced Lily. She showed up at my motel 2 days later. How she found me, I still don't know. My guess? My mom, because of course she would. She knocked on my door at 8 a.m. I opened it and stared at her. She looked terrible. No makeup, puffy face, hoodie I hadn't seen since we were kids. She said, "Please." I didn't say a word. I let her talk. She launched into an apology. Or what she thought was one. I never meant to fall in love with him. We didn't plan this. It just happened. We were drunk one night, and after that we couldn't stop. It was stupid, but we have this connection. You and Tom weren't in love anymore. You were just roommates. I didn't think you'd care this much. You've always acted like you were too good for him anyway. I blinked. You think that's why I'm mad? You think this is about whether I was in love with him? She had the gall to look offended. I told her, "I paid for your wedding. I wrote your vows. I stood by your side while you said them. And the whole time, you were sleeping with my husband. That's not love, Lily. That's sociopathic." She started to cry. I closed the door in her face. Word spread quickly. Not from me, but from them. Lily told our mom. Our mom told our cousins. Suddenly, I was getting texts like, "I'm sure this is all a misunderstanding. Family is complicated. Ratch, you shouldn't make this public. Why are you trying to ruin Lily's marriage over a mistake?" I didn't respond to a single one, because here's the kicker. Lily's husband, Ethan, had no idea. I told him everything. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. I met Ethan at a diner. I didn't want to send screenshots without warning. I needed to do it face to face. He showed up confused, smiling, even, "Hey, what's up?" he asked. "Is Lily okay?" I slid the manila folder across the table. He opened it, flipped through screenshots. At first, silence, then rage. He didn't scream. He didn't throw anything. He just whispered. They were sleeping together before the wedding, weren't they? I nodded. He sat there for a long time, holding the folder like it was radioactive. Then he stood up, whispered, "Thank you," and walked out. I never saw him again. Where we are now, the divorce is in motion. Tom is contesting the asset split. He wants his share of the house, even though I paid for 75% of it. My lawyer says we'll crush him in mediation. Lily is officially separated from Ethan. My mom isn't speaking to me. She says I destroyed the family with my bitterness. I don't care. I sleep better now. Alone. But honestly, safer. Update. You know the weirdest part? It wasn't walking in on the betrayal. It wasn't even reading the messages or watching my sister spin our destruction into a misunderstood love story. The weirdest part was what didn't happen. No one came to me with the truth. No one tried to stop it. Not one single member of my family thought to say, "Hey, Rachel, something's not right. Let's talk about my mom." Because if I'm going to tell you how I healed, I need to tell you how I let go. After everything exploded, after I handed Ethan the folder and Tom got served and Lily started spiraling, I gave my mother one chance. I sent her one message. You get one opportunity to tell me the truth. Did you know? She replied in less than a minute. You're being dramatic. I don't want to get involved in your marital issues. That was all I needed to hear. I blocked her number. I haven't spoken to her since. The family group chat imploded. Yes, we had one. Sunday fun day. It had been dying for years, but this blew it up for good. The final message I sent. For those of you still talking to Lily and Tom, I'm not asking for sides, but I am asking for distance. If you're in their camp, stay there. Don't straddle the fence. I'm done pretending blood means loyalty. Then I left the chat. Some cousins texted me privately. A few told me they were sorry. Most said nothing. One of my uncles had the nerve to say, "You'll regret cutting off family." I told him, I didn't lose a family. I just stopped subsidizing their version of me. So here's where this story takes a turn. Remember Ethan? The guy Lily married? The poor guy who found out on a Tuesday afternoon over pancakes that his wife was cheating with my husband? About a month after that diner conversation, I got a message from him. "Hey, just checking in. How are you holding up?" I stared at the screen for a long time. I didn't want to open that door. But I also wanted someone who understood. Someone who knew the sick, rotten layers of this betrayal the way I did. I replied. We started texting. Slowly. Carefully. At first it was just anger. Did she really say that? You won't believe what he tried to pull with the lawyer. Then it turned into shared grief. Late-night messages about how hard it is to trust. How people pretend to love you just long enough to steal something. Then one night, after months of this quiet, aching correspondence, "Want to grab a drink?" I did. No, this isn't the part where I tell you Ethan and I fell in love and lived happily ever after. We're not together. Not like that. But that night, we sat at a bar, two ghosts of who we used to be, and we laughed. We laughed like people who'd already died once and decided we had nothing left to lose. He moved to another state. We still check in. He's doing better. So am I. Sometimes healing isn't about falling in love again. Sometimes it's just about being believed. She showed up at my apartment. No warning. No message. Just knocked. I didn't want to open the door, but I did. She looked gray, like a version of herself drained of color. No makeup. No tricks. Just Lily raw and cracked. "I'm not here to apologize," she said. "I just want to say thank you." I stared at her. Thank me? For not telling Mom everything I said. For not releasing those texts publicly. You could have ruined me. I laughed. Out loud. Not kindly. You did that all by yourself. Then I asked her something I didn't expect to say. "Did you ever love me?" She didn't hesitate. "No," she said. "Not really. Not the way you wanted. I was always jealous of you. You had it together. You had the grades, the job, the attention, the money, the control. I just wanted something of yours. I didn't think it would go this far." And she walked away. I never saw her again. Rebuilding. It's been nearly a year now. The divorce finalized. I kept the house. Tom didn't even show up to the final hearing. My lawyer said he tapped out. Once it became clear he wasn't getting anything, I repainted the whole place. New locks, new colors, new energy. I got a dog. Her name is Cinder. She's small and fierce and barks at anything that comes too close to the front door. Me too, Cinder. Me too. My circle is smaller, but it's mine. I don't have family holidays anymore. No Christmas dinners. No birthday texts from people who share my DNA. But I have 3 amazing co-workers who took me out for drinks when they found out. I have a neighbor who brings me coffee when she sees I'm working late. I have a therapist who looks me in the eye and says, "You're not crazy. They were just selfish." I have me, and for the first time in a long time, I don't feel like I'm apologizing for existing. If you've made it this far, I don't know if this is helpful. I don't know if it reads like a soap opera or a horror story or something in between. But if you're reading this and your gut is screaming that something's wrong in your life, listen to it. You're not imagining things. They'll call you dramatic, bitter, overreacting. They'll say, "But we're family." Let me tell you, betrayal from family cuts deeper because it was never supposed to happen. And when it does, it makes you question every memory you thought was safe. But you don't owe loyalty to people who weaponize love. You don't owe forgiveness to people who never apologized. And you sure as hell don't owe your future to people who tried to destroy your present. I paid for my sister's wedding. She paid me back by taking my husband. So I gave them both what they wanted, each other. And I took what I needed. Freedom, peace, and a life that no longer includes them.